Hello and welcome to Whiteboard Sessions with me, Andrew Maff. I'm the founder and CEO of BlueTuskr, a full-service digital marketing company for e-commerce sellers. And today I'm going to go through my top 10 automated emails that I suggest setting up for e-commerce sellers. Now, here's the caveat with this. None of these are going to be your transactional stuff. So I'm not talking about shipping confirmation or order confirmation or billing stuff or your login or your password change. Like none of that stuff. Like all that stuff needs to be covered. If you're in Shopify, there's a really easy place that you can just go, basically customize all those. If you're in Klaviyo, you're using something like that, you can obviously take the template and do those that way. The transactional stuff is not what I'm getting into today. What I want to get into are the campaigns that you need to be setting up, optimizing, testing, A/B testing as much as you can. But these are the main guys, right? So we're going to go through the top 10. So let me put a title this time because I never seem to do that with my beautiful handwriting. So first one, right, we have the obvious that everyone knows is coming first, which is my welcome series. So your welcome series, and also what I'm going to talk about today, what I'm not going to get into with each of these, so I guess what I'm not going to talk about today, is how many of these you should have. You need to A/B test these. So welcome series is a perfect example of that. So assuming that you're doing a typical pop-up on your website where you get 10% off for new customers, and great, you sign up and then the first email is your welcome series, which is welcome to our newsletter and here's your 10% off code. But then how many other emails after that do you send and what's going to be on them? That's going to be completely up to you. You're going to need to A/B test that. If you see your welcome series open rates start to teeter off after 3 or 4 of them, then maybe you stop, or maybe if you see that they're holding strong, then maybe you do more. You want to make sure that you're consistently emailing as much as necessary without annoying. So your welcome series, maybe your first one is a discount, then maybe it's got your social, then maybe it's got your new products or your seasonal stuff or other stuff that people can set up for. There's a lot of other things that someone can do, right? But so here's your welcome series. It's definitely one that I highly recommend. And again, I had to write these down because they're memory of a horrible elephant, ironically, since that's our logo. But so number 2, another typical one. So if you're abandoned cart, these are going to get better towards the end. I'll bet some of these you guys don't know. So abandoned cart is pretty obvious, right? This is, okay, I have, someone has added a product to the cart. They decided not to purchase, so I send them an email to remind them. Again, depends on how many of these you want to set up. Typically, I suggest at least doing 2. Sometimes you might want to do more than that. Your first one, let's say, goes out an hour later. Then your next one goes out maybe 24 hours later. And then maybe another one that's 48 hours later, something along those lines. But again, definitely something you have to set up. Abandoned cart capturing is so crucial. It's insane. People who don't have abandoned cart emails or even abandoned cart ad campaigns drive me insane because you got them right to the end. They're ready to purchase. They were let's buy this thing. And then something made them say no. So you need to either remind them that maybe, hey, don't forget that you left this in here and you didn't finish. Or B, maybe you let them know hey, I can give you a little extra discount if you'll wrap it up kind of thing. So highly, highly recommend abandoned cart. Then you have your browser abandonment. So some of these I know, that's abandonment. Some of these I know actually have, not all softwares have this functionality. So basically this is someone came to your site and maybe viewed a specific product or something along those lines, and then there's left, and they did nothing. So this email goes out however long after they've left the site and didn't add to cart or didn't obviously purchase. Now, in both of these cases, I always get the common question of well, how can I email them if I don't have their email? That one's pretty obvious. So obviously you need to focus on what you can do to capture an email, whether they purchased with you or not. So obviously that's where maybe your discount comes in, or you have some kind of awesome gated content or something along those lines to entice someone to give you their email. But once you have that email, then you can send them an abandoned cart reminder or a browser abandonment of hey, we saw you checking this out. Is there any questions we can answer for you? Or something along those lines. They came to your site for a reason. Find out what that reason is. And if you already have their email, chances are they already know who you are. So then obviously you're going to want to follow up and be hey, do you have any questions? You already know who we are. So maybe you weren't just window shopping. So that's where you want to send those. The last one is a new customer. So new customer. Right? So new customer. So this one's great. This one does really well. This one is basically what you want to do is right after someone purchases you for the very first time, they get this email, which is, thank you for shopping with us. getting that customer to shop with you for the first time is one of the hardest things to do. Getting them to come back is a little bit easier, especially over time as they become comfortable with you and they've gotten to know you. They know what your customer service is like. They know what to expect. In this case, they don't know what to expect. So they kind of, took a leap of faith and started to work with you. So obviously you want to thank them. So in a lot of cases, what we'll do with these types of emails is we'll make them really personalized. Maybe they come from the founder themselves and has a picture of the founder with their dog, or maybe it's, like almost like a handwritten email or something along those lines. So something that really is a little more personalized and a little more touching of thanking them for really taking that leap and knowing that you really appreciate them working with you. I don't care how big your company is, this shit works. Repeat customer. So this is something I only do for the second time. I don't do this for, that's customer. This is handwriting. This show's not gonna last long if I do this handwriting. So this is something that I do only the second time after someone purchases. So you have new customers that shop with you for the first time, repeat customers when they shop with you for the second time. The reason I don't do it more than that is because it gets kind of annoying after they're like, okay, I get it. You appreciate that I shop with you. This one is kind of like you shopped with us last time, you enjoyed it enough to come back and shop with us again, and we really appreciate that. So maybe for coming back, you want to give them a little something, or maybe, it's just a discount, or maybe you just give them like a, hey, we're going to give you specifically this, towel for free with our logo on it, or something like that. Anything to just kind of show your appreciation for the fact that they did in fact come back and decide to shop with you yet again. After that, and even if you've given them like a little gift here or something along those lines, you're actually really starting to show your appreciation. You don't need to nag them all the time, and you don't have to send them free stuff every time. At this point, you've pretty much got them. So now you have your best customer, right? So this is where why do I even write on this thing? The handwriting is horrendous. This is best customer. I'll make this one a little bit more tolerable. So best customer is something you're going to set up where basically you're going to put a threshold on it of, let's say they've shopped with you 10 times, or they've spent X amount with you, or they've shopped with you X amount of times and spent X amount with you. Or maybe they've shopped with you a few times, but over the course of several years. So it's going to be really dependent on your product and the sales cycle and how often someone purchases and how much it costs and all that fun stuff that you're going to have to figure out. But your best customer, you want to send them a big thank you for being like in the top tier of people that shop with you. Because these people are enthusiasts. These people are your biggest fans. You could probably get them to do anything that you want. So the best customer, a lot of times what we'll do is one, maybe even a second email that maybe gives them a little something for being so awesome, or we start to ask them for things of like, hey, we'll give you X% off if you send us a testimonial video, and then you could just throw that video everywhere. You could use it for ads, you can use it in other emails. There's so many different scenarios you can use it in. But these are basically your enthusiasts. These are like your biggest people, like they're your biggest fans. So you have to basically reach out and thank them. And then also kind of understand that like they love working with you. They are your best customers. You need to treat them like they are the best thing to ever happen to you in your life. But you can also kind of think about like maybe you can get something else out of them since they're such a big fan. They might be willing to go that extra mile just to get 10% off or whatever. And it doesn't always have to be a discount. I know that's kind of what I favored a lot here, but you can also just be like, hey, send us a testimonial and we'll send you like a free t-shirt or something along those lines. So then you have the opposite of your best customer. So you have your customer win back. So your customer win back is basically sending an email to someone who hasn't shopped with you in a long time. So in this case, maybe they shopped with you a lot. In this case, they were just about to shop with you. In this case, they at least went to your site. In this case, they haven't seen you or talked to you or done anything with you in a long time. So this is where you kind of have to figure out like what's your sales cycle, how long does it take for someone to typically purchase, how long should they have purchased again, things like that. So it's going to come down to how often you want this one to trigger. But this is basically, hey, I don't know if you remember us, but we would love for you to come work with us again. We know that you tried this and now you might like this. And this first email could really just be a simple reminder. Be like, hey, I don't know if you remember who we are, but we're here. Or it could also be like, hey, we haven't worked with you in a really long time. Here's 10% off for you to come back and try us again. Maybe you didn't enjoy it last time, but we've worked really hard at changing a few things. So here's a discount for you to give us another shot or something along those lines. Whether you change something or not, you can still say it. So not whatever, just do it. So customer win back can work really well. Welcome series are obviously usually going to be your biggest revenue driver because it's a discount. Abandoned cart's going to be pretty much your next biggest revenue driver, just because it's obviously rescuing sales that you were basically about to get. Browser abandonment's really good for customer service. It can bring in a decent amount of revenue, but sometimes people just didn't see the answer that they were looking for on a product page or something like that. And so you're actively reaching out and asking them. In some cases too, by the way, this browser abandonment, depending on your company and what your brand is like, you could actually set this email to look similar to like a personalized email. So it almost sounds like it came from customer service, like, hey, I saw you're on the site, any questions I can answer for you, as opposed to doing like some big branded thing. New customer, typically not the biggest revenue driver because they just purchased. However, if you're putting upsells or anything like that on there, then that's a different story. But this one really solidifies that customer working with you again. This one really solidifies that customer working with you again. Again, can bring in some decent revenue depending on if you have upsells or cross sells or anything like that in there. Best customer, again, depends on how you're leveraging it. So this one can obviously bring in a little bit of revenue, especially if they're one of your top ones. And then this one can actually bring in a really good amount of people who just completely forgot that they worked with you. Depending on what your product line is, it might just not be something that they need to purchase a lot very often, so they may not know. The other one is a replenishment. So this one doesn't always work for everyone. Replenishment. So this one is, and by the way, we're going to put these in the description in YouTube so you can just read these. Or if you're on our blog, you can read them here. But so the replenishment emails, those are basically sending a reminder like, hey, you purchased X 30 days ago and you may be running low, so do you want to buy more? So really what happens here is it works well with consumables. It works well with replacement products, like if you're doing like vacuum filters or air filters or something like that. Or really if it's just, but yeah, obviously consumables. Maybe you could even do like printer paper or computer ink where you're kind of like, chances are on average someone repurchases with us after X amount of time. So you can automatically trigger these to go out. So let's say printer ink, right? So, okay, we know that the average person comes to repurchase every 2.5 months. So every 75 days, then you automatically have an email go out. And then maybe you wait like another 2 weeks and send another replenishment reminder like, hey, you might be running low on your ink. Do you want to repurchase? Worst case scenario, they say no. Just don't nag them in case they don't want to replenish. Because basically what will happen is if they don't replenish after a while, the customer win back will trigger. So you don't have to panic about it. And then last but not least, oh no, there's two more, sorry. So now we have another one, which I missed one. So I just call this customer event because this could be anything. So this is, if you can get enough information, especially like in a welcome series, but as time goes on, if you can get it through sending them preferences or sending them a form or anything like that, birthdays, anniversaries, Father's Day, Mother's Day, like anything that you want to get a reminder about that's specific to them. So I guess Father's Day, Mother's Day wouldn't work, but like graduation date or something like that. It really kind of obviously depends on what it is. But like, for example, we worked with companies that do collegiate apparel. So we asked them what month they graduated. So every month we set up an automated email to go out to that customer, customized to them based on their college that they went to, saying like, hey, it's your graduation anniversary, or you have a loved one's anniversary that you can send out to, or you have their birthday where you send them a discount. So something where you're reminding them of an event that's coming up and you're giving them something to entice them to come shop with you. So this could really be anything. We even did some companies with pet supplies. So we would ask them when their pet's birthday was, and we would send them an event of like, hey, so-and-so's birthday is coming up. Do you want to get them, a new toy or something like that? So any extra data you can get from your customer around dates should really be leveraged around here. So last but not least, and I have a couple bonus ones for you too, just because I know that these don't always work, but this one's really obvious. And I always see most sellers don't actually do this, and I don't know why. Post-purchase email. So they've purchased with you. Yes, in theory, you have your new customers post-purchase, you have your repeat customers post-purchase. Depending on what triggers you set up, you might have a best customers post-purchase. But what I'm referring to here is essentially several things over, right? So this could be thank you for shopping with us. Don't forget to join us on social. Or thank you for shopping with us. Don't forget to sign up for this. Or we have this awesome piece of gated content. So obviously we don't need your email anymore. So just here it is, right? So anything along those lines where you can basically just kind of stay in front of them. Because basically what you want to do is, as you start to see here, there's a ton of these, right? Like we have 10 of them. And then if we set up like maybe 2 or 3 emails for each of them, all of a sudden you're at like 20, 30 automated emails. So really what it comes down to is at this point, you have so much automation going, triggering at different times, that the newsletters that you send out really don't need to be that common or that really that often at all, just because you've already have it so automated that you can kind of just let it run itself. And then every now and then you A/B test different subject lines and different creative and things like that. That's a different story. That's a different video. But these post-purchase ones are really great for just kind of staying in front, keeping your brand in front of them. So hey, don't forget to join us on Instagram and tag us, in which case maybe we'll feature your picture. Or don't forget to, download this piece of gated content I mentioned. So there's a ton of different ways that you can do, but post-purchase is obvious. Post-purchase also falls into the line of like review requests, right? So we do a lot with like Yotpo and Trustpilot and all those guys. So basically what'll happen is after someone purchases, a post-purchase automated email that says like, hey, don't forget to review us, is something that can happen, or anything along those lines. So there's a lot of different options here. This could be many things, and it could be one thing, or you could just not do it and not listen to me at all. Who do I care? What do I care? So a couple extra ones, right? So I actually have 2 that are kind of like bonuses, and the only reason I kept these separate is because these don't always work for everyone. So one of them is educational. So let's say you have a complicated product, right? So let me give you an example. We have someone we work with that sells like cleaning supplies, and there's kind of sometimes certain ways that you should do it, or certain things you should use it on and certain things you shouldn't use it on. So we'll do educational automated emails after each purchase, regardless of if they purchase a specific product. What we'll do is we'll send them an email that's automated with articles we've written, or just within the email copy itself of like, here's directions of how to use it, here's how to do this, don't forget to try this. Or it could be something a little different where, okay, we have a certain product that is sold for this reason and we market it for this reason. However, what you don't know is you could actually use it for this as well. So now your educational actually becomes like, don't forget, you could also try their product like this way or like this way, but maybe that's just not the way you did it. As another example, we work with a couple companies that do like concrete grinding. They have these massive concrete grinders and stuff, and comes with a ton of different tools. Well, most people purchase it for concrete grinding. What they don't know is that you can also do it for sanding decks and things like that, and it works on wood floors. So what we do is we send educational emails behind other products, other tools that they could purchase with that machine so that they can basically use it for other applications. So there's a ton of like kind of like upsell opportunities, but there's really also a matter of just like sending them blog posts and stuff that you've written before to give them more insight behind the product. And then last one, pretty obvious, but the reason I left this one out, so upsell, the reason I left this one out is because if you set these up right, you don't really need an upsell email, because these should all have some kind of upsell opportunity in them, right? So your welcome series, here's your 10% off, and then here's like our top products. And then here's your abandoned cart. We saw you had this to your cart. Maybe add this to your cart as well, and we'll give you an extra 10% off of your entire order. Your browser abandonment. We saw you looking at this. You might like this instead. New customer, we love that you purchased this. You might also like this instead. Repeat customers, same concept. Best customer, you've bought a lot of this. Maybe you'll like these. Like every single one of these works. I could keep going. But so the reason I kind of kept this one separate is just because like in theory, you probably should have it within all of these. But if not, then you want to have a separate upsell one of, okay, you purchased this product. Now you may want to add this one to your cart, or you might want to cross-sell them in some certain way. So this one's a little bit why I kind of kept these two separate, is they're not always in the right area, but we could have called this the top 12 and never would have done that. But I liked number 10, so I did 10. But I'm sure there are a lot more other automated emails out there that you guys may think about. So if there's something I'm missing, feel free to comment below. I'd be happy to redo the video for you. But comment below, let me know if you see any automated emails I missed. If not, comment, let me know what you thought of the video or a video that you would like me to cover. However, the typical rate, review, subscribe, these come out, I think, like on a weekly basis at this point, so make sure to tune in. But if not, I will see you all next time.